to Drew Code Sports Talk. I am your host, Andrew Wright. Over here is my lovely co-host, Cody Johnson. All right, guys. This really kills me. It hurts me in the core, but we have to talk about it. It's been killing me. We have to talk about it.
If we're going to talk about San Francisco 49ers, then we've got, because again, we want to be respectful to all teams, but sometimes you just got to bite the big one and just settle for what we hope the audience likes. So.
The team that I hate the most out of any other team.
It's a respectful hate.
The Los Angeles Dodgers. We got to say it. All right. I picked them to win the NL West, and although that hurt as well, the Dodgers are sneaky good.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to bring up first. A lot of the times the Dodgers come into a season and everyone goes, "Oh, the Dodgers are going to be there. They're going to be in the playoffs," which a lot of guys did. They didn't start off great, so everyone was like, "Okay, whatever. Dodgers. They have Clayton Kershaw. They got a couple of good guys, but it looks like they're not doing so great. So they're going to have to change something." So everyone stopped talking about it. And honestly, ever since then, the Dodgers picked it up and they've started winning more games. Right. They've started winning, actually, almost like an average of like 5 runs.
Yeah.
So my wife is a Dodger fan, so we kind of watch highlights of the Dodgers here and there. And what I've noticed is this team is playing better now that they don't have that monkey on the back where everyone's going, "Well, the Dodgers have to be there. The Dodgers are always there." Now they don't have that on there. It's gone. Everyone just goes, "Oh yeah, the Rockies are killing it. The Diamondbacks are a big surprise. The Nationals are destroying baseball right now. The Yankees are scary good. The Astros. No one saw them being the best team in baseball.
Well,
so."
Come on, they do have the Grizzlies.
Yeah, the Grizzlies. The AAA is so good, But, so no one's talking about the Dodgers. The Dodgers are 23-18. They are second in the NL West. They're actually third, tied for second. But they have been quietly good, flying under the radar, and this, to me, sends a message that if the Dodgers are playing this well and they get into the playoffs with basically no one really talking about them other than that they're going to be in the playoffs,
right?
This Dodger team might excel the way we're seeing them excel now. Can they go the distance, in your opinion?
Are we saying distance as far as the World Series? No. I still think that in the NL, I still think Chicago is a better team, even though the record may not be as good as what it was last year at this point in time. Chicago, obviously, it seems like that they've taken a small step down, but again, baseball is a long season, so they could pull it out. Later on in the season, they still got the hitters, still got the pitchers, a lot of time left. Same thing with the Dodgers, though. They've got good hitters, especially Bellinger. Man, talk about a stud of a player. Which thank you for giving me advice to pick him up on fantasy baseball. By the way, he's kicking ass for me. But anyways, they've got really young hitters. And they've got the top, pitching ERA right now in all of the majors. But I still think that Chicago is better than the Dodgers, and I still think that the Nationals are also better. And I still think, because both hitting and pitching, that they're both better at. However, I do believe the Dodgers will make it in the playoffs as a division winner in the NL West. I will say this: I see them going in the second round. I don't see them going into the World Series, though. I still think that there's too many. I think that the NL teams that I named off are better than them. But then again, we're also judging this in May, when we've still got a lot of baseball to go. But as of right now, if you were to tell me what I think is a better team that would make it to the World Series first, Dodgers is probably third on my team, respectfully. But they're going to win the NL West, and I think they're going to beat out the Colorado Rockies, which are still a good team. And the Diamondbacks are starting to trail off a little bit, and that's why the Dodgers are catching up and they're flying under the radar. But the Dodgers are not the best NL team right now, but they will be the division leaders for sure.
I think the Dodgers can get there, and the reason being is not to disagree with you just because I want we're trying to have different opinions. No, what I fully believe is this Dodger team has always had a good rotation. They have a really good rotation. They honestly have a 6-man rotation right now, but because a couple of guys are injured, they've been able to kind of not have to talk about that really. They have to deal with it. They have the best closer in the game. They have the best starting pitcher in the game. Their lineup is starting to get a little older, but they've mixed in a lot of young guys. And what we talked about in the Giants segment was they don't have a ton of prospects. The Dodgers do. The Dodgers, I'm not sure on this one. I'd have to double check. But they have about, at least I counted 5 prospects in the top 100. And so that's good.
Put in perspective, the Giants only have 2.
Yeah. And Cody Bellinger is one of those guys, and he's already been called up, and he's not going back down. There's no way.
No.
This guy is incredible. Now, you have Clayton Kershaw. There's no need to be said. I used to be the guy who would be like, oh, Clayton Kershaw can't get it done in the postseason. After last year, after what I saw what he did, not his fault. That was Dave Roberts' decision to take him out in a time where they shouldn't have, and he did, and they lost. Or Kenta Maeda, he had a great year last year. I still believe in him. Is he going to be the best pitcher? No, but I like him. But right now he's on the 10-day DL. Julio Urias, they've messed this kid up so much. I disagree with what the Dodgers are doing. This guy gets called. He was in AAA. His second year as a professional, he gets called up, had a really bad first start, and then he kind of started evening it out. He got better and better and better. And now this kid is really good, and when someone comes off the DL, they send him right back down. And then someone goes on the DL, then he comes back up, then someone comes back. Dodgers, stop it. This kid is actually really good. Let him go. Let him play. I really like Scott Kazmir, even though he's going to have an ERA close to 4 now. He's still a really good veteran, and especially when you come postseason time, he's going to be good. He's been on the 10 DL all year, so he should come back sometime. Hopefully, actually, it sounds like he might be coming back in June. And then you have Brandon McCarthy. He's starting to become the Brandon McCarthy that I remember, where he started off really good, and then he gets injured, and then his ERA goes up. Hyun-Jin Ryu, he's been interesting. I thought he was going to be a lot better, and Ryu has really been struggling. I don't know what's going on. It's got to be a shoulder injury. But all in all, I really like the rotation. It's scary. As a Giants fan, I've seen all of them, and they're all really good pitchers. Their relief pitching is what hurts them. Sergio Romo, you guys can have him. I'm glad you guys got him because, good Lord, an 8.10 ERA, and he has a higher ERA than any Giant, which is scary because the Giants have had some
really
bad pitchers. Pedro Baez is like throwing gasoline on a fire, and I know everyone's going to look at his ERA right now and go, what? I'm telling you, my wife will tell you, Baez is terrible. She hates him as much as I hate Hunter Strickland. And I know everyone's going to look at the ERA like, what are you talking about, dude? Talk to me in August. But really, out of those two guys, Josh Fields, I really like out of the Dodgers bullpen. I think he's really good. He's got a good fastball. He should be a setup guy. They kind of use him every now and then, but obviously Kenley Jansen. When you have him, you don't have to have a setup guy. You could throw him out for 3 innings, and Jansen will do well. They're just hurting right now. They lost Andrew Toles. I think it was a blessing in disguise. Now you get to see Bellinger for basically a whole year. And Cody Bellinger, I love that kid. I do. I'm not a Dodger fan by any means, but Cody Bellinger is exciting to watch. He's like when Yasiel Puig came into the league, where even if you hated Yasiel Puig, you hated the way he played the game or whatever, all these, all the old guys. He was, even if you hated him, you still would watch his at-bats because he was a different player that we hadn't seen before. Cody Bellinger, to me, is that type of player. I've always liked Justin Turner, and I actually wanted the Giants to get him this offseason because he's a really good contact hitter. And that he had like 25 home runs last year. A lot of people were like, oh yeah, he's going to be a home run hitter. He's never been that guy until last year. that we call a contract year.
Right.
But he's hitting 372. He's got 1 home run on the year. He's hitting 372. That's good for me. I don't care. You could have 0 home runs. If you're hitting 372, come on over, buddy.
Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted the Giants. Look at compared to Justin Turner, compared to Eduardo Nunez, who started at third base.
Yeah.
Look at what the difference is. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, Corey Seager, you can't say enough about the kid. Adrian Gonzalez, I've always liked, and he's always scary at bat. The Dodgers, they have a really good lineup. They have a couple of guys who just swing for power, but with their lineup, they get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Dodgers, they need to keep flying under the radar, but I really feel like they could beat a Nationals team. That's how good this Dodgers roster is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any objections to that because all those points are valid, and I mean, I agree the Dodgers are a good team. I think what it is because they're such a mixed bag, especially with their pitching. Not their starting pitching, but I would say, with the pitchers that you were named Baez, you never know when it comes to the setup role. But Clay Shaw is great. Alex Wood is really good. McCarthy's doing about what we think McCarthy's going to do. And they're doing really well, and they're going to get there. Their hitting is going to get there. I just think that the Nationals have too much firepower, especially offensively, and I think that Chicago offensively is better, and their pitching is better as well. So come playoff time, it could be a lot different. They just need to fly under the radar, bottom line, and just keep up the momentum, but we'll see.
Well, what you're talking about with the whole momentum thing, how you should fly under the radar. What we mean by that is, for example, you look at the Chicago Cubs. They didn't have a lot of pressure. A lot of people thought that they could do it, but they didn't have the pressure of they have to do it. This is the year they have to do it. It wasn't like that. It was like, I think the Cubs are so good. And the Cubs were just, they were raking it. Their pictures were phenomenal. This year, everyone goes, well, they should do it again this year. Now they have all this pressure on them, and you see, as of now I get it, it's May. It's the middle of May. We're not going to freak out right now about the Cubs. But the Cubs are not dominating like they did last year. A lot of their guys who were hitting last year aren't hitting as well this year. They have some added guys, and it actually hasn't helped. So when you lose a couple of guys, it hurts you, but you don't feel like it would hurt you that bad. So what I believe is happening is the Cubs have had so much pressure on them this year that they've had a very rocky start. And that's what was happening with the Dodgers. Every year, the Dodgers were always in the conversation. This year, it felt like the Dodgers were in a conversation of they'll win the NL West, that's it. And that's good. I think, honestly, this is the perfect spot where the Dodgers need to be. They don't need that pressure. Because Dave Roberts, he's only in the second year as the manager. You have Clayton Kershaw, who proved that he can get it done in the postseason. You got a lot of injuries right now. You got to overcome that, of course. Yasiel Puig is hitting how he always does, which is he's going to be about a 250 hitter, and he's going to smack. He might get 20 home runs this year. You get a Justin Turner, who's going to be a guy who's going to hit over 300, who also wears the Kanan Hardcores. Just wanted to put that in there. And Adrian Gonzalez, who wears the Kanan X-Cores. And I could tell you who the Giants were too, but I'm not going to go there right now because this is about the Dodgers. But when Adrian Gonzalez comes back off his injury, I feel like he's going to hit better. He's going to be a guy who's going to hit like 230, but he's going to have a lot of RBIs because of where he is in the lineup. Logan Forsythe, when he comes back, he's going to be an added guy who could hit 280, 290. So that's going to really help. Corey Seager is power and contact. I don't need to say anything about him other than he's going to be really good, like he is. Cody Bellinger, if he can kind of get a little more contact, he'll be even better. Jock Peterson, I feel like he's going to be a 220 hitter, but he's another guy who can hit 20 home runs. So they have a very good lineup. Yasmani Grandal, I'm not really high on him, but he's what they have, and he will definitely do. He's a better at bat than AJ Ellis. Good Lord, I hated AJ Ellis. But you know, and the Dodgers, like we talked about, they have all these prospects. They have guys that they can fall back on if something doesn't work. The Dodgers are in a great position because no one's talking about them, and they're just flying through games. I'm telling you, I flipped through a channel one time. I watched like an inning. They scored 3 runs, and it just seemed like I went on SportsCenter, and they're like, "Oh, and the Dodgers won this game," and they won by like 6. And I was just like, "No one's talking about this Dodger team." It's crazy to think, because when I grew up, it was if the Dodgers scored or won by 6 runs. That was all over the news because it was LA, you know, it's the Dodgers, stuff like that. So I feel like the Dodgers are in a great position. They don't have the monkey on their back. They don't have all this talk about them of, you know, can they make the World Series? Everyone's just saying, oh, they'll win the NL West, that's about it.
Yeah.
And so I think the Dodgers are in a perfect position, honestly.
I'm proud of you, man. As a Giants fan, I know that was really tough, but you know, I felt like you did really well.
Listen, I love baseball, so I'm going to talk about it constantly. So if you are a Dodgers fan, tell me how I did. I mean, I felt like I was pretty fair. All right.
I mean, trust me,
bet you my wife would tell. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Drew Code Sports Talk. Also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I promise we will post a little bit more. That's on me.
It's a team effort. We'll get on that.
And Drew Code Sports Talk. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you guys so much. Dodger fans, even though I don't like your team, please still watch us. I appreciate you watching this and getting the perspective of a Giants fan.